Good morning and happy Wednesday. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far, but it is a wet start to your Wednesday. Looking at radar right now, we've seen these showers honestly just build upon themselves for most of the day so far. Around maybe 5 or 6 this morning was the first I saw a shower or two, and honestly, actually before that, it was more like 4 o'clock. Yeah. Decent amount of rain for parts of Winchester, and then I did see Marion County got a good downpour around that time, and then even Jackson County, which Jackson is still under a flood advisory, flash flood warning, I should say, as well as parts of Tennessee counties as well. A couple of Tennessee counties are in the mix, and that is only due to the amount of rainfall that's going. As you can see here, this cluster of showers, and I wish I could kind of show you here, but the showers that are closest to Winchester, Chattanooga, High Top, Scottsboro have been sitting there for most of the morning. This is the furthest they've moved. And so what we're seeing is the slow motion of the cluster of storms that's in the way. That's going to create some of that extra heavy downflow that's going to continue to keep water running through the cities. We're expecting a good deal of some possible flooding, but some areas won't see as much flooding as others. They just put Jackson and a couple of our Tennessee counties, I believe Franklin as well is in the mix, but they put a couple of those counties in there for the advisory of you to note that there's going to be some heavy rain coming your way for most of the day. We're expecting rain chances throughout most of the morning. We could see some dry hours. Like I mentioned, some folks are seeing some drier areas of rain chances right now in Madison. Looks like as I was driving around a little earlier, it seemed like there was just some light mist, a little downpour in some areas, but even still, just a little drizzle. But you can see the pavement's still kind of wet and damp outside. Folks still making their way around this morning, but the expectation with these rain chances by noon, they're going to continue to become more widespread. Right now, we're only seeing a centralized amount of rain. Now, I do feel like this model is being a little lenient on the amount of rain expected by noon, but it does kind of show the amount of areas that can expect rain. Getting through most of the afternoon into the evening, though, we'll see rain pick up and clusters will build upon one another. As you can see right around the Florence area, right on the state line with Mississippi, even Lauderdale County, even Russellville and Moulton, Phil Campbell. Lots of these areas will see heavier downpours into the evening. And that'll make for a wet commute for lots of us. So make sure as you're driving, some areas may experience some flash flooding. We may also see some areas that are not flooded, but some roads that have more water among them than others. So make sure you're driving safely today, just because this is a good downpour that we're expecting. We're expecting anywhere between 1/4 of an inch for some areas in the southern portion of our viewing area. They'll get the smallest amount of rain, but we're expecting that all the way up to about 2 or so inches of rain for the next couple of days. And it's mainly because it's so slow moving. We're not seeing much motion with the rain chance that we've got so far. And Thursday is going to be more of the same type of forecast. We'll see rain on the rooftop in the morning and throughout most of the day ahead, and overcast conditions as well. So you can see that kind of takes our temperatures down a tad. Lots of us still in those mid 80s as we get closer to the afternoon. Now 90 is our expected high for the day, and not everyone will see 90. Only a couple places that are drier than others and may not see a passing shower at the hottest point of the day, but expect steamy conditions all around. We won't see rain chances start to taper off until well into the evening. And that's going to create some oppressive humidity for the next couple of days. It's going to be steamy, sticky. I like to say it reminds me of like a pressure cooker, you know, when you cook your rice or whatever and you open it and it's just all that steam comes out. Yeah, that's kind of what it's going to feel like for the next couple of days. Not as hot. So let's start there, but it'll still be that wet, sticky feeling as you go outside. Even now, we're dealing with a great deal of that. Almost feels kind of like a sheet of warmth when you walk outside. So we'll continue to see that, and you're noticing some 74s across the board as we get into the weekend. Now, my expectation is that our humidity could become a little more miserable, on that miserable end of our scale, due to the fact that we've got these rain chances in the mix, but we're going to see some drier conditions heading into the weekend, and our heat index values are expected to kick up with that as well. We're going to see some triple digits possibly this weekend. And some folks could get a heat advisory or two between Saturday through Monday even. Rain chances will start to build back in for the following week, but focusing on the matter at hand with our current rain chances, we'll deal with that for another day or so, and then moving into the weekend, much drier conditions. We've got high pressure sitting over a good deal of the Tennessee, North and South Carolina area that's kind of kicking its way over to us as well. So what we're expecting for the day, though, feels like about 92 to 93. I feel like our temperatures here may be a little cooler than expected, but that's what we typically find when we have rain and we have cloud cover, all these added things that continue to keep us on the cooler side of the weather. And then even with that humidity, it's still kind of warm outside, but not as warm as we've seen from the past few days. Now, dew points are ridiculously high. As I mentioned, it's quite miserable feeling outside. The expectation is that miserable, oppressive feeling, and really air you can wear with our scale here. Again, that's like you walk outside, it's uncomfortable, you feel that damp stickiness on you, it makes you want to run to the car faster, that whole thing. And for our students this morning, it's not looking good for any outdoor recess time. Maybe indoor recess, which indoor recess is always fun. My mom comes up with cool, fun stuff to do, and I love learning about the fun things that they do during indoor recess. So hopefully you guys are having fun inside today. And then even still, if it's not raining, you don't want to play in the mud. You don't want to be, around some of the wet equipment. I remember sliding down one of those, it was like a covered slide. So you couldn't really see, there was no daylight to it. It was just a tube slide. And I got to the bottom and there was a large puddle. So my clothes were wet for the better part of that day. And it wasn't pretty. It was like muddy down there too. It was gross. So you never want to deal with that. And of course, like I said, Wednesday and Thursday are going to be a rinse and repeat of each other. So we'll see some similar conditions heading into Thursday. So parents, keep that in mind as you get your students ready for school tomorrow, or maybe you're thinking ahead of what they should wear. I know picture days are, I think maybe picture day may be a little early for some schools, but even still, if there's a nice back to school outfit you have for your student, maybe wait till Monday and Tuesday to pull that outfit out where it's going to be a little dry and they can enjoy being outside, because it's going to be kind of gross for the next couple of days. Expectations as far as our next few days and into our 10-day forecast, again, rain will continue throughout the rest of our work week. Looking at Friday, we start to see some warmer conditions. We take it up to about 92, and then 20% chance of rain. So still could see a scattered shower or so, but not as strong and as noticeable as we've seen today. More of your passing shower or two scattered throughout the afternoon. It's just Wednesday and Thursday are going to be our stronger days for those showers. Looking at Saturday, Sunday, and even into Monday and Tuesday, 94, 93 is the range that we'll stick in. And usually when we get to those mid-90s, we also welcome in possibly some triple digits, depending on the dryness that we're seeing. And there's no rain chance for the next couple of days after that. So that's going to be brutal heat to expect. Now, we're probably going to remain on the lower side of those rain chances, not rain chances, our heat index values are going to remain on like the 102, 103. But as we know, some areas trend warmer than our metro area. So like Muscle Shoals, for example, is always kind of the warm outlier that and I pull from the top of my head that I can remember. And a good deal of those folks could be closer to that heat advisory criteria. Just really depends on how everything shakes out for the weekend ahead. In NWS chat, we're going back and forth, kind of making some decisions on that. And of course, you'll always know well beforehand if there's going to be some extreme heat, but we're just going to go back into what we experienced right before the end of July. Nothing as strong as those four first alert weather days, not as warm, but you'll trade your umbrella for sunglasses and sunscreen and a water bottle. If you have not been hydrating lately, now's a good time to go ahead and do it. Especially, it's going to be a nice weekend, partly cloudy expectation. So if you've got some yard plans or you've got some cleaning up to do, maybe you're still kind of debriefing from the first couple of weeks of school. I think this is week 2 for a good deal of folks. A good opportunity for the kids to play outside as well. Still could be a little damp and muggy and even muddy in some yard conditions just from the rainfall that we'll see in the next couple of days. May not be all that dry come Saturday and Sunday, but enough to go out and enjoy. It's going to be nice and gorgeous, but it'll also be still feeling like 102, 103. So make sure you're well aware of that. And even moving into Monday and Tuesday, same can be said there. Wednesday through Friday of next week looks to be more of the same with rain chances. And you'll notice those temperatures go back into the mid and upper 80s come Thursday and Friday. So we could see another cool down on the way. And honestly, I wouldn't mind it. I would welcome it. If we could have anything that was kind of like last week's cool down, that'd be awesome. But you know that doesn't really last all that long here. So we'll take it for what it is. But again, we've got these rain chances to get through for the next few days. This weekend, it's going to be bright, sunny, still some muggy conditions, almost miserable feeling outside. We could see those heat index values well into the hundreds for quite a few areas. And then Monday, Tuesday, more of the same. And then Wednesday is when we kind of get back into our summer showers that we're used to seeing. Expect some steamy conditions throughout the rest of that week as well as this week. It's going to be kind of similar. Misty asks, how long is it supposed to rain now? The rain expectation for today is going to be a good deal, especially if you're in our metro area, our central portion of our communities. Even, let's see if I can roll that all the way back so I can show you. We'll see how far it lets me go back. But for most of the day, there we go. So we're talking Huntsville, Decatur, Hartselle. It'll kind of sit in this centralized area for a good portion of the day. Fringe showers and storms could be expected for the Lauderdale areas, even Wayne and Lawrence counties in Tennessee. Marion saw a good downpour. You can kind of see where those fray showers are starting already. We'll see that passing throughout most of the day into our afternoon and evening. And it doesn't look like it'll clear up much once we get to the 2 and 3 o'clock hour. But in the evening, we won't see fully clear and dry conditions until around 8, 9 o'clock, maybe even 10 for some areas. So it'll be a good day of rain that will be on and off periodically, but still, as you can see here, there's going to be a good centralized portion of rain, and I say on and off for those areas that are experiencing a fringe downpour or two coming off of this cluster. So that just really kind of depends on the movement of this, and it's moving rather slow. Like I mentioned, it's slow moving. We're not expecting it to pick up speed anytime soon. It's just kind of weighing over the valley so far. So we'll continue to monitor that, and we're honestly seeing less lightning than what we saw earlier this morning. We were seeing about 60 or so strikes earlier this morning, I should say, about like 4 or 5 o'clock. So the expectation for rain is going to be a good chunk of your Wednesday. hopefully I answered all your questions, anything you have pressing concerns. I'm always available via my Facebook. You can message my Instagram if you follow me there. Email, of course, as always. And I'm also going to be on TVL and our noon show. You can also watch through our app, streaming services. Anywhere that you can find WAFF 48, you can find your forecast. So with that being said, I hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday. And I hope you'll tune in for TVL, noon shows, and even our evening shows. And of course, hope you're staying hydrated, stay dry, and have a great rest of your day.